Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of Davohnte Morgan? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the disappearance, then offer my analysis. Davohnte Morgan was born on March 15, 1992, and grew up in San Francisco, California. He had a brother named Anthony. Davohnte was active in his church and sang in the choir. He was described as musically inclined, popular, friendly, and someone who did not wander too far from home. For over 10 years of his life, Davohnte had a stutter. As far as a career, he had a dream of being a preacher someday. In 2017, Davohnte was sitting on the front porch of his home when he was shot by someone who was targeting another person. Davohnte was wounded in his hand and pelvis. He walked with a slight limp due to the damage he sustained. Davohnte became depressed and used alcohol and marijuana. Sometime later, he tried to discontinue his substance use. In 2019, Davohnte met a woman who was 20 years older than him, and they became romantically involved. The woman has never been publicly named, so I will simply refer to her as Davohnte's girlfriend. After this relationship started, Davohnte moved out of his comfort zone as he and his girlfriend traveled to various places. One of Davohnte's family members described the girlfriend as smart, saying that at one point she was a life coach. The family member did not make a great case for the girlfriend being smart. Davohnte's girlfriend appeared to maintain New Age beliefs and would sometimes make statements which were inscrutable. Now moving to the timeline of the disappearance. On May 4, 2020, Davohnte and his girlfriend took a trip to Mount Shasta, California. Mount Shasta is a mountain in Northern California with an elevation of just over 14,000 feet. There is also a town named Mount Shasta, which is about 8 miles southwest of the summit. In this video, when I use the term Mount Shasta, I will be referring to the town unless otherwise specified. Mount Shasta is about 5 hours north of San Francisco. It has about 3,200 people. 89% of the residents are white. The town has a strong association with New Age beliefs. For example, it has several stores that sell crystals. Some of them are referred to as metaphysical supply stores. Considering that Davohnte's girlfriend maintained New Age beliefs, perhaps this explains why she was interested in traveling to this particular area. Davohnte and his girlfriend stayed at a motel on North Mount Shasta Boulevard called the Cold Creek Inn. Their plan was to return to San Francisco the next day, May 5, so Davohnte could attend his nephew's birthday party. On May 7, 2020, at 9:16 a.m., Davohnte's girlfriend reported him missing to the police in Mount Shasta. Here is the story she supplied to the police. During the early morning hours of May 5, 2020, when she and Davohnte were at the motel, he woke her up and asked her to come outside to have a cigarette. Davohnte's girlfriend was angry at him for waking her up. They accidentally locked their motel key in the room and had to call the after-hours number. The on-call manager came by and let them in the room. Davohnte and his girlfriend continued to argue for a few hours. They went outside and walked separate ways in order to cool off. This was a typical coping mechanism the couple would employ when arguing. Davohnte's girlfriend wanted to see the sunrise and walked in one direction as Davohnte walked in another direction. At about 9 a.m., when Davohnte's girlfriend was returning to the motel, she saw Davohnte walking on North Mount Shasta Boulevard. He still looked upset. Therefore, she continued back to the motel. They did not speak to each other. Davohnte's girlfriend told the police that her boyfriend was wearing black sweatpants, a black knit turtleneck shirt, and San Francisco 49ers flip-flops. Davohnte never returned to the motel and was never seen again. Here's what the police found during their investigation. Davohnte's cell phone was broken. It last pinged in Oakland, California on May 3, 2020. It could not be used to help locate him. Mount Shasta has a very small police department. Only one officer was on duty at a time. They called other agencies for assistance, and a search was conducted. They not only looked in the town, but in the surrounding wilderness, but they did not find anything related to Davohnte Morgan. On the day of his disappearance, May 5, surveillance cameras located throughout the town captured Davohnte 10 different times as he walked through downtown. At 9:14 a.m., he was seen walking west on Lake Street. He crossed North Mount Shasta Boulevard and walked past the police station. He crossed Lake Street and entered a Valero gas station where he made a purchase. Davohnte then walked east on Lake Street and passed by the police station again. He turned left and walked north on North Mount Shasta Boulevard. At 9:40 a.m., he was spotted about a quarter-mile north of the Cold Creek Inn. Again, this is the motel where he was staying with his girlfriend. At 9:42 a.m., he could be seen walking south toward the motel. A camera mounted on a crystal store captured Davohnte walking north on Chestnut Street. At 9:48 a.m., he turned right and walked east on East Alma Street. Davohnte could be seen passing a middle school. At this point, he was walking north on East Alma Street. He turned left on Rockfellow Drive and walked west. This road changes to East Ivy Street in about 900 feet. If he kept walking for another 1,300 feet past that change, he would have been back at the motel. Davohnte covered about 2.25 miles in an hour of walking. He was not captured on surveillance video after 10 a.m. The police spoke to a witness who lived just north of the Cold Creek Inn. The witness said that they heard a couple arguing on May 5 at 9:30 a.m. This makes it seem like Davohnte's girlfriend was not being honest. She told the police that she had not talked to Davohnte after they went their separate ways in the morning. On May 5, sometime between 9:30 and 10 a.m., a mailman encountered Davohnte. The mailman said that he looked disoriented. Davohnte asked him for directions to get back to a motel on Alma Street. Of course, Davonte's motel was not on Alma Street. It was on North Mount Shasta Boulevard. Alma Street was 2 blocks away. The mailman explained to Davohnte that there was no motel on Alma Street, but there was an apartment building there. The mailman gave him directions to that building. A few minutes later, the mailman encountered Davohnte on Alma Street and redirected him toward the apartment building. The mailman spotted Davohnte for a third time on Skibold Drive, just a few feet north of Rockfellow Drive, but the mailman did not stop to talk to him. The Mount Shasta police believe that Davonte's girlfriend knows more than she has stated, but she has not been charged with any crime. At the time making this video, Davohnte is still missing, and the investigation into his disappearance is active. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. After Davonte's family arrived in Mount Shasta and started searching for him, they implied that his girlfriend was speaking in a nonsensical fashion. For example, she talked about how Davohnte was going to reappear or how he was going to manifest. The word manifest has a strong connection to New Age beliefs. Her commitment to these beliefs may have contributed to these statements. The police described the behavior of Davonte's girlfriend as loony. She was not concerned, sad, or upset. Her behavior was not appropriate under the circumstances. Based on the witness who heard the argument, it appears as though Davonte's girlfriend may have lied about speaking to Davohnte on the morning he went missing. In addition, she waited 2 days to report him missing. Item number 2. The mailman who encountered Davohnte described him as disoriented. Davohnte did not have a cell phone that worked, which meant that navigating would have been more difficult. He was struggling to find his way back to the motel. I find it curious that Davohnte accepted the mailman's directions to an apartment building as a suitable answer to his question about a motel. Why didn't Davohnte say something like, "No, I am not looking for an apartment building. I am looking for my motel"? Furthermore, why couldn't the mailman figure this out? Why did the mailman offer directions to an apartment building after receiving a question about a motel? This is like telling someone who is looking for a gas station, well, there is no gas station on that street, but there's a laundromat. How about that? When the mailman encountered Davohnte for the third time, he must have known that Davohnte was lost based on where he was located. Why didn't the mailman stop and talk to him? Item number 3, Davohnte's family arrived in Mount Shasta and searched for him. His brother heard a story about Davohnte being abducted in a white van and taken to an area called Twin Arrows, 4 miles outside of the town. The police investigated the story, but found nothing. The family members implied that they had encountered racist behavior while they were conducting their search in Mount Shasta. With these items in mind, let's take a look at the major theories about what happened to Davohnte Morgan. Theory number 1 is that Davohnte simply walked into the wilderness and died from something like exposure. There are plenty of factors supporting this theory. In every direction from the town of Mount Shasta, there is rough terrain, a lot of places where someone could get lost permanently. Davohnte was not exactly dressed for hiking and did not have any supplies with him. Flip-flops are not considered appropriate footwear for those conditions. Davohnte was disoriented and may have been angry from fighting with his girlfriend. He also had a history of depression and substance use. These are all risk factors for doing something dangerous or unwise. From the town, the mountain is impossible to miss. Perhaps Davohnte thought that he could make it there, like he wanted to go on some type of New Age spiritual journey. As far as the factors refuting this theory, Davohnte did not appear to be distressed when he was walking through the town, and he indicated a desire to find the motel. If he had an intent to die, why would he choose a method like walking into the wilderness? Theory number 2 is that Davohnte's girlfriend was somehow involved in his disappearance. Looking at the factors supporting this theory, Davohnte's girlfriend waited 2 days to report him missing. Maybe she was buying time to cover up a bad act. Like they drove away from the town together, she did something to him, returned to the town, and pretended as though he disappeared from Mount Shasta. Davohnte's girlfriend acted in a nonsensical manner and appeared to be withholding information from the police. It is reasonable to believe that it was her idea to travel to Mount Shasta in the first place, based on her New Age belief system. Davohnte's girlfriend may have lied to the police about when she last spoke to her boyfriend. Looking at the factors refuting this theory, Davohnte walked through the town alone for about an hour and was captured 10 different times on video surveillance. If he later met with his girlfriend and she did something to him, one would think that they would have been captured on a camera. Davohnte's girlfriend did not appear to possess advanced critical thinking skills. It seems very unlikely she had the ability to get away with something like murder. New Age nonsense brokers are known for murdering logic, but not for murdering people. I guess it's possible that she attacked him with a crystal and manifested some type of escape plan, but that seems improbable. Theory number 3, Davohnte was the victim of foul play perpetrated by unknown bad actors. Looking at the factors supporting this theory, some people have argued that Mount Shasta has a history of being racist. Perhaps somebody saw Davohnte walking around and decided to cause him harm because he was black. Also, his state of disorientation may have made him an easier target. Moving to the factors refuting this theory, no one in the town had a motive to attack Davohnte. There was no reason to believe he was carrying a lot of money, he wasn't causing trouble, and he had no connection to the area. When considering all the theories in this case, how would I rank them from most to least probable? I think the most probable theory is number 1. Davohnte wandered into the wilderness, became lost, and died. The next most likely theory would be number 3. Somebody in the town murdered him and concealed his body. It's also possible that somebody gave Davohnte a ride and he was killed many miles from the town. The least likely theory would be number 2. Davohnte's girlfriend was somehow involved. Now moving to my final thoughts. It's possible that, in one form or another, New Age beliefs were related to the negative outcome in this case. At the very least, they appeared to be the motive for traveling to Mount Shasta in the first place. There are many legends about the mountain of Mount Shasta. For example, one legend indicates that under the mountain there are many tunnels and a hidden city It is the home of the alien lizard people. I guess that's where they go when they're not spending time in Hollywood or Washington, D.C. The disappearance of Davohnte only adds to the mystique of the mountain and the town that sits near it. Nonsensical beliefs come with some degree of risk. People who believe that everything is going to magically work out for the best sometimes find themselves in situations where not even the power of a crystal can save them. Those are my thoughts in the case of Davohnte Morgan. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.